I want to do something different today. Not my original voice, as I'm currently ambiguous on resources. I want to actually put in my channel. It's more of a hobby and interest-based endeavor than a matter of life or death or money. Just me, my actual numbers, and an honest guess at when this channel gets monetized, if it ever does. I also want to talk about a specific kind of video that has completely flooded this platform. The How I Got Monetized in 30 Days video, and why almost everything in it is either survivorship bias or a lie by omission. Let's start with where I actually stand. This channel is roughly 7 weeks old. As of today, I have a handful of subscribers, a little over a dozen videos published, and the honest truth is that most of them have single or double-digit view counts. My best performing piece of content, a 15-second short, has pulled in about 1,500 views with genuinely strong retention. My best long-form video sits around 60 views. My impressions on recent uploads have actually been shrinking week over week rather than growing, which is a specific and uncomfortable thing to admit on camera. But I'd rather show you the real graph than a fake one. Here's what YouTube actually requires for monetization through the partner program. Since a shocking number of videos claiming to explain this get it slightly wrong on purpose to keep you watching. You need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in the trailing 12 months for long-form monetization. Or you need 10 million shorts views in the trailing 90 days as an alternative path. Both paths also require you to have no active community guideline strikes and to live in a country where the program is available. That's it. That's the actual bar. Everything else you've heard is either a strategy for reaching that bar faster or noise. Let's do the actual math on my channel, honestly, using my real trajectory instead of a hopeful one. I'm currently gaining roughly 1 to 4 subscribers a week, depending on the week. At the high end of that pace, reaching 1,000 subscribers takes somewhere around 250 weeks, which is close to 5 years. At a more optimistic pace, if my subscriber growth accelerates the way small channels sometimes do once they cross a few thousand total views and the algorithm starts trusting them, that timeline could compress significantly. But I want to be honest with you and with myself. Based on where I am today, with the data I actually have, I am not on a fast trajectory. I am on a slow one, and pretending otherwise in a video like this would defeat the entire purpose of making it. Now let's talk about the videos that promise otherwise, because I've watched a lot of them while researching this channel's growth strategy, and a pattern emerges almost immediately. The I got monetized in 30 days video. This one trick got me to 1,000 subscribers overnight video. The copy this exact formula video. These videos are not lying about their outcome. The creator genuinely did get monetized fast. What they almost never disclose is the full context surrounding that outcome. And the context is doing most of the actual work. Some of these creators already had an audience somewhere else, a TikTok following, an Instagram presence, an existing podcast, and simply redirected that audience onto a new YouTube channel. That's not a YouTube growth strategy. That's an audience transfer, and it is not replicable by someone starting from zero anywhere. Some of these creators posted an enormous volume of content, sometimes 5 or 10 uploads a day, across dozens of accounts simultaneously, and the video you're watching is the one account out of that entire portfolio that happened to catch a wave. This is survivorship bias in its purest form. You are not seeing the 90 accounts that got nothing. You are seeing the one that did, presented as if it were the typical outcome of the method rather than the statistical exception. Some of these creators are, frankly, exaggerating or rounding generously. 30 days sometimes means 30 days after several prior months of unlisted testing and preparation that simply isn't mentioned. Some of it is not dishonest exactly, just incomplete in a way that flatters the story. And here's the part that matters most for anyone actually trying to build something real. Even in the small number of cases where the fast timeline is completely genuine and fully disclosed, it is describing an outlier event, not a strategy. Outliers exist in every field. Someone wins the lottery. That does not make buying lottery tickets a financial plan. A video that shows you a real 30-day monetization story without also showing you the thousands of channels that followed a similar approach and got nothing is not teaching you a method. It's showing you a result. A video that shows you a real 30-day monetization story without also showing you the thousands of channels that followed a similar approach and got nothing is not teaching you a method. It's showing you a result and letting you assume the method caused it. I would like to add something here. Having a YouTube channel, whether it being a hobby or a career, I for most part of my adulthood had thought to be very difficult or impossible. But once I stepped into it, it wasn't that difficult. But real difficulty lies somewhere near generating quality, maintaining consistency, and enjoying the process rather than stressing on it. My personal used elements, in case someone's curious, in creating this channel are Claude for idea, till script and prompts, Google Flow for visuals, 11 Labs or Hagen, on required use for voice and then CapCut to compile all. So continuing what actually moves the needle, based on real algorithm behavior rather than hopeful mythology, I want to give you the honest version of this, based on what I've actually watched happen to my own channel and what I understand about how the recommendation system works. Retention is the single most consistently rewarded metric across both shorts and long form, not views, not likes. The percentage of a video that people actually watch, and specifically whether they watch it in a way the algorithm interprets as intentional rather than accidental. My best short has 57% retention, and it has dramatically outperformed everything else I've made at a ratio of roughly 50:1 against my typical video. That's not luck. That's the algorithm noticing a genuine signal and acting on it. Consistency matters more than intensity. A channel posting 3 times a week reliably tends to outperform a channel that posts 15 videos in 1 week and then disappears for a month, even if the total output ends up similar. The algorithm appears to reward channels it can predict, likely because predictable channels are easier to recommend to an audience that will actually return for the next upload. Suggested videos placement, meaning YouTube actively recommending your content next to other creators' videos, is the real sign that a channel has crossed into sustainable growth. Right now, on my own channel, this traffic source sits in the single digits or low teens across almost every video. Most of my traffic still comes from my own channel page and browse features tied to my existing small audience. Until suggested videos becomes a meaningfully larger slice of my traffic, I am not yet in the phase where the algorithm is actively introducing me to new people at scale. So, is it worth it? I want to answer this honestly rather than with the forced optimism most creator advice defaults to. If your only reason for making this channel is to reach the monetization threshold as fast as possible, the realistic math I just walked through should be sobering. At my current pace, this is a multi-year project before the partner program threshold is even reached, and that's before accounting for whether the revenue afterward is even meaningful relative to the time invested. But here is the honest reframe, and it's not a manufactured silver lining. The 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers were never actually the goal. They're a byproduct of something else being true first: genuine retention, genuine reason for someone to return, genuine reason for the algorithm to trust the channel enough to show it to strangers. If I chase the number directly, copying whatever trend promises the fastest path, I am optimizing for a threshold instead of optimizing for the thing that actually produces the threshold as a side effect. Every channel I've studied that broke out authentically, rather than through an audience transfer or a lucky outlier, did it by getting the retention and consistency right first, and the subscriber count followed afterward, sometimes with a real-time lag between the quality improving and the numbers catching up. There are legitimate exceptions to slow growth, and I want to name them honestly instead of pretending they don't exist, because dismissing them entirely would be its own kind of dishonesty. A creator entering a genuinely underserved topic at the exact moment public interest in it spikes can grow unusually fast because they're filling a real gap rather than competing in a saturated space. A creator with a genuinely unique format, one the algorithm hasn't seen enough of yet to become saturated with, can also see outsized early traction, because novelty itself is a signal the recommendation system responds to before that format becomes common. These are real. They're just also rare, and neither is something you can manufacture on command by watching a tutorial about it. Here's where I've landed, watching my own numbers honestly, instead of through the lens of what I wished they said. This channel is not on a fast path to monetization. It may take years at the current trajectory, or it may accelerate if the content and consistency keep improving the way they have been. I don't actually know which, and anyone who tells you they know exactly how long their own channel will take to monetize is guessing with more confidence than the data actually supports. What I do know is this: the videos promising a shortcut are, almost without exception, selling you a result and letting you assume it was the method. The actual method, as far as I can tell from real data instead of borrowed confidence, is slower, less exciting, and far more likely to actually work if you stay with it long enough for the algorithm to notice the pattern rather than the individual video. If you're building something similar and you're staring at small numbers wondering if it's a waste of time, I don't have a magic answer for you. I have my own graph, and I'm showing it to you honestly instead of pretending it looks better than it does. Whatever you decide that's worth, that decision is yours to make, not mine to sell you.
Subscribe to join the reflection and welcome to the channel.